What is up? It is Crash Boy 1996 here. Today, we are going to be going over the top 5 worst Crash Bandicoot games. And if you guys do not agree with my opinion, that is okay, because at the end of the day, it's my opinion and everybody has different opinions. So we should be getting on with the video, shall we? Coming in at number 5, we got Crash Bandicoot: The Wrath of Cortex. This game uses the Crash Bandicoot warped formula that didn't necessarily age well, like as in the Crash Bandicoot series. And like, this game is not a terrible game, but it's not really a good one either. I'll admit it was a good story of like introducing Crunch, but I feel like there were like more negative things I had to say about this game than I had positive things. Like, for an example, the vehicle levels, and some of the levels got a little bit repetitive. And I will say that the levels where like you have to be in like a ball, kind of like in Super Monkey Ball, it was not really fun. And I would say the like those air like levels where you have to ride on the propeller, those weren't really great either. And Coco in the game sucks, which like Coco is like really bad in the game. Like, when I mean bad, I mean she controls terribly. And that's like one thing I have to say about this game. And another thing, and like I feel like when it came to like fighting Crunch, it wasn't terrible, but it was like the final boss could have been better. Some of the Crunch bosses could have been like yeah, I felt like they were a little easy, weren't too challenging, and the game was just not really like a Crash Bandicoot like kind of vibe. And it's like, I feel like the game just, like I said before, didn't age properly well, but it is a nice, like a little, yeah, not a highest recommendation, but hey, moving on. Take it in at number 4, we got Crash Mind Over Mutant. This game, just like what I said about the Wrath of Cortex being Crash Bandicoot Warp, but like a downgrade, this game is basically Crash of the Titans, but like just something that didn't age entirely well. I'll admit, like, the story was kind of like okay. There was some dialogue and like the acting was kind of cheesy. But outside of that, like gameplay wise, like it was a nice addition of like doing missions and stuff. But it was the fact that like it was a lot of back and forth, and certain things was just like not really like there when it came to like some of the gameplay, like the Titans, for an example. Like, why would you allow us to have Titans being able to like switch them, and like you couldn't like discard a Titan or like get off of a Titan unless if you have one Titan? That was kind of stupid. And some of the Titans weren't really the best in the game. Like, the giant Titans were better in Crash of the Titans, and I just realized I've said Titans a lot, but that doesn't matter because it doesn't change the fact that the game does not age entirely well. It's not that great. I'll admit the final boss was actually pretty fun to fight, but outside of that, the game is really, because you really just go through like the same locations back and forth. But moving on. Coming in at number 3, we got Crash Boom Bang. Now, when it comes to party games are not for Crash. Please, for the love of God, leave the party games to Mario, please. I mean, Pac-Man Party was good, but outside of that, this game sucks. This game is extremely short. This game, the party games are not that good. Most of them suck. There are some party games that I'll admit is good, and the positive part about this game is that at least they brought Tana back, because she hadn't been in a game in like, yeah, a very long time at this point when this game came out. And what's weird is how Tana decides to date Pinstripe and not Crash. What's going on here, Pinstripe and Tana? Y'all just gonna diss my man's Crash like that after Crash went on a whole adventure to save you when my man's Pinstripe literally tried to shoot him. But outside of the events of Crash Bandicoot 1, Jesus, when I say that the mini games are just not fun, most of them are not even fun. They're kind of just a little bit boring, and yeah, it doesn't age properly. And like I said before, leave the party games to Mario, because when it comes to party games are not for Crash. Moving on. Coming in at number 2, we got Crash Bandicoot Purple Ripto's Rage. Let's decide to get a Game Boy Advance Crash and Spyro crossover by switching the villains of Crash and Spyro, having them fight the protagonists. Yeah, let's do that. This game is not the best. It's not something that I would suggest playing, like as a Crash Bandicoot fan, but it's like, nah. This game has possibly one of the most boring bonus stages. This game, like I've said about other Crash games, they don't age. The Game Boy Advance games are not terrible, but this game is really bad. And funny enough as it is, just take Crash Bandicoot The Huge Adventure and take Crash 2 Entrance and just make it worse. Like, for an example, like when you get a bunch of Wumpa Fruit just to continue on, yeah, that's not the best formula for a Crash Bandicoot game. And to be honest though, some of the bosses, I feel like it was a bit mesh for me, and I will admit a few of them was good, but it's like outside of this, yeah, this game is not that great. Doesn't live up, and the story is a bit cheesy, kind of like some Jimmy Timmy Power Hour shit, but yeah. Moving on to number 1. Take it in at number 1, we got Crash Bash. Oh my god, this game is complete dog shit. When I mean dog shit, this game is dog shit. Like I said earlier, how party games don't really work out for Crash Bandicoot. The story is boring. The party games suck. And like, this game is extremely challenging to where it's unnecessarily. Like, don't get me wrong, I like challenges, but this type of challenge when it comes to Bash is unnecessary as fuck. And all I gotta say is fuck this game. This game and completing it 200% is not worth it at all. You're better off just playing off the main game, the main story, from how boring this shit is, because the story is very, very boring. I hate this fucking game. So that was it for the Crash Bandicoot games on top 5 worst games. And it's not that many, since like I would say Crash Bandicoot has its up and downs, but at the end of the day, Crash is still the boy. I love me some Crash, and yeah. So that'll be it for this video. Give it a big thumbs up if you guys liked it. Subscribe. I will see you guys in the next video, and I hope you guys will stay tuned for some more Crash Bandicoot content. And yeah, Crash Boy 1996 out.